Good evening everybody. Welcome back to Swamy Vijay's EMRS, KVS, NVS, PGT and TGT Tier 2 online class. And in this class today we are going to learn about John Donne, his works, metaphysical poetry, and one poem we are going to deal in this class, Valediction, Forbidden Morning. So let us begin this class without any delay. John Donne is an Elizabethan poet, contemporary of Shakespeare, Christopher Marlowe. Yesterday we studied Ben Jonson. Ben Jonson is not contemporary of Shakespeare as we discussed yesterday. He started his poetry in the late Elizabethan period, Ben Jonson, and moved even into the Jacobean period. His prime, like the Walpole, yesterday with the play we discussed, was written in Jacobean period. So Ben Jonson comes under Jacobean period, though he started his career as a playwright in Elizabethan period. Whereas John Donne is from same era of Shakespeare, Elizabethan period, and John Donne's speciality is he is the leader of metaphysical poetry as well as metaphysical poets. So first let us understand the biography. As I explained yesterday and day before yesterday, whenever you study any writer or any work of art or any literary figure, we need to study about the biography of that particular writer, and then we have to know about what are the political, economical, social events and incidents, important events and incidents happened in that particular era or during the lifetime of that particular writer. Along with that, we need to know who are other people who are in that era or contemporaries of that particular writer, and we should also know other works written by him, and we will take up only one work for complete and thorough explanation. So whenever you prepare for any examination related to English literature, whenever you read Shakespeare or Ben Jonson or Christopher Marlowe or whoever it may be, you need to read the information in these four areas. First area is the poet or the writer's background information about his biography, the first point. Second point is what are the political, economical or socio-economical, political events and incidents and important events and incidents happened during the writer's lifetime. Third one, what are his important literary contributions, works, whatever he had written or she had written, all those names you must know. The publication years of those works also you must know. And briefly we must know the important characters, the summary, the plot, the theme, the message of those important works. Then the fourth one is whenever you take up any writer, there will be so many works of art, there may be so many plays, so many poems, so many novels. So you need to pick up one or two important which made the writer to become famous. For example, if you talk about Shakespeare, you cannot talk Shakespeare without highlighting his play Hamlet and Macbeth. So likewise, every poet, every writer, every author in each and every age became very popular because of one play or one literary work. So that we have to select for extensive reading, and remaining we have to read at least so that we can understand what actually the summary, the plot, the theme of those poems and the plays. So these are the four areas we have to always remember whenever you read any literary figure. And then fifth point is when it comes to poetry. Fifth point is when it comes to poetry, we should know what are the literary devices used, what are the poetic forms used, figures of speech used in that particular poem or particular writer. So in addition to the 4 points, if it is a play or if it is a prose piece, or if it is a novel, the first four are enough. But when it comes to poetry, we need to know the fifth point also. What is the fifth point? The literary devices used by the poet in his lifetime, and poetic devices, literary devices, figures of speech, and any kind of literary terms particularly associated to that particular writer or the poet. So this is the fifth point. I hope you are writing these 4 points. I'll repeat once again. If you want to write down, you write down. Whenever you study any writer, any author, 4 points are important. Whenever you study any poet, the fifth one, whenever you study any poet, the fifth point is important. First point is the biography of the poet, the writer. Second one is during his lifetime or during his era, what were the socio-economical cultural background of that particular age, and what are the important incidents, events happened or occurred in that particular age. Third one is his or her important works of art. Fourth one is we need to select most important works of art, and we have to study those works of art or those books thoroughly. And when it comes to poetry, we should know the fifth point. What is the fifth point? The literary devices, the poetic forms, the figures of speeches, the terms associated to the particular poet and to the poem. We have to write down. So if you start writing notes in this way, then you will cover entire information which is important for examinations. So let us begin the first point about the poet. John Donne, he was born on 22nd January 1572, London, England, and he died on 31st March 1631, aged 59. You may get doubt, do we get questions on the birth and the death? Yes, of course. Can you tell me Elizabethan, one of the greatest Elizabethan writers who was born and died on the same date?
Shakespeare.
Manasa?
Shakespeare.
Shakespeare. Snehata ma'am?
Yes, sir, Shakespeare. I said the same.
Right. So these are some kind of questions we may expect in examinations. Okay. So we need to know the date of birth and the date of death of the particular writer. And what is the occupation of John Donne? He was a poet, priest and lawyer. He studied law and nationality English, England, and he is a student of Oxford University, and his genre is satire, love poetry. He had written elegies, sermons. And what is the subject of his poems? His subject of his poems are love, sexuality, religion, death. Because you have to remember these things, and you have to write down this piece of information slowly in your notebook. And what is the literary movement he had brought into the picture, or the leader of a literary movement is metaphysical poetry. So these are the bits and pieces of informations, chunks of information which is very important in examination point of view. What is the subject of John Donne's poetry? Love, sexuality, religion and death. Okay. And what is the genre he used? Satire, love poetry. He had written elegy and sermons. Morning class, if you had watched, I don't know how many of you watched the morning class live recorded video. In that morning class, I explained literary devices are poetic forms, like what is an epic, what is mock epic. So likewise, I explained each and every literary device which is connected to metaphysical poetry. Did you all watch morning video? Please send thumbs up if you have watched morning video. Okay, Manasa only, Prince Kumar, Mahesh Kumar, Jyoti Chobe. Please watch, because those are very confusing concepts, and you will get 1 or 2 questions from the morning video. There are so many other poetic devices are there, literary figures of speeches are there, but I will release in connection with the syllabus. Otherwise, if I release everything in one go, you will not understand the connection between the what you call the syllabus. For example, as today we are discussing John Donne metaphysical poetry, you should know what is a metaphysical poetry and what is a metaphysical conceit. All those things if you know, then you come prepared to this class, and whatever I explain in this class, it will be very easy for you to understand. So please watch. And I want to tell you that as all of you or many of you who are attending this class already cleared tier 1 examination and you are preparing for tier 2 examination, you know the seriousness of the tier 2 examination. So I don't want to unnecessarily scold anybody or abuse anybody, or to what you call use any kind of abusive language in the WhatsApp group to force you to read, because you know this is like one time opportunity. If you clear tier 2 examination, you will get a job, you get settled, and further you can try to improvise your life and you can go even higher, or if you want to change, you can change the job also. But first you need to get into the government job. So I know that you're all serious, I don't have any doubt about that, but sometimes when you lose track, it is my job to bring back you onto the track. So I don't generally talk anything unnecessary in the class or unnecessary in the group, but if situation demands, then I'll call you and I will scold you like anything. So please don't give me that opportunity, don't give me that chance. Continue with the preparation, prepare seriously, clear the examinations. I hope you understood. So like beginning of the tier 1 examination, I used to speak a lot, I used to scold, I used to call them. All those things won't be done in this tier 2 preparation, because you know what is the seriousness of getting a job. Okay, let us move now. So John Donne. Miss Ashna, please read the information.
Yes, sir. Independent poet. He was the most independent of the Elizabethan poets. Revolt against convention. He revolted against the easy, fluent style, stock imagery, and pastoral conventions of the followers of Spenser. Focus on reality. He aimed at reality of thought and vividness of expression. Poetry style. His poetry is forceful, vigorous, and in spite of faults of rhythm, often strangely harmonious.
Right, thank you. So he is an independent poet. There are so many other poets during his era, like Edmund Spenser. He had written Protalmium, some names I am not recollecting right now, but they all actually have a convention style of writing poetry. During Elizabethan poetry or during Old English days, the poetry was mostly written to please the kings and queens only. But this man, John Donne, he was completely opposite, and he was the most independent of the Elizabethan poets. So Elizabethan poets used to worship nature, they used to worship the beauty of women, but this man had taken the theme of love, death, and all those things, religion. He was a Catholic, but then he converted into Protestantism. He was revolted against convention. He revolted against the easy, fluent style, stock imagery, and pastoral conventions of the followers of Spenser. So the easy way of writing poetry, he was not happy, and he used difficult words, far-fetched imagery, uneasy. It's almost all impossible to understand the figures of speeches used by John Donne in his poetry. So he wanted to make things very, very complicated. It's like intellectual poetry. There are so many comments on metaphysical poets that they made the poetry unnecessarily complicated, but that is their style of poetry, and they wanted to bring the invisible intellectual aspects into the poetry with the help of the words, and that was not possible for them also, and it was not possible for the readers also to understand what exactly they wanted to communicate or convey through their poetry. Focus on reality. He aimed at reality of thought and vividness of expression. See, religious poetry, we know that very complicated. It is very difficult to understand unless you know the minute details of that particular religion. If I tell you in English literature, if you find the image of a sheep, what it actually represents? Tell me. In English literature, if you find the imagery of a sheep, what it actually represents?
Sir, innocence.
Innocence. Who is the shepherd in English literature?
Jesus.
Jesus Christ. So what I want to tell you that at the beginning, when I was a student of English literature long back, I was not able to understand what actually the English literature, what actually the poets were writing, what actually they wanted to communicate, and what the message they want to convey through the poetry and through their work of arts. But once I understood the Old Testament and New Testament of Bible, and then understood the belief system of Christianity, then every piece of work becomes piece of cake for me, because the entire English literature depends upon the religion, and the religion is Christianity. If you know Christianity, then you can easily understand the writings written by the Christian people, the people who believes in Christianity. And then if you go deep into the subject, you understand that Christianity also has two different wings. Like people who believe in Mother Mary, they are called Catholics, and people who believe in Jesus Christ, they are called Protestants. And now their belief system made them to think and evolve, and then they will produce the literary work of art based upon the belief system. So the main fundamental idea behind the English literature is the English Bible, or the Christian Bible, Old Testament and New Testament. Unless we understand the Bible, unless we understand the Christian values, beliefs, it is difficult for us to understand English literature. I think when I realized this, I read Bible, Old Testament and New Testament, and then I started to understand English literature very easily. Otherwise, I was not able to understand what is the difficulty of Hamlet characters. Why Hamlet was so glorified in English literature, makes Hamlet is one of the best characters, and it was most discussed character in the English literature. I was not able to understand during my post-graduation. When I was preparing for a competitive examination, somewhere I come across one line, Macbeth character is so complicated because he believes in religion. What religion says, what Bible says, what Christian belief system is, if you kill someone while they are offering prayer to God, that means if someone, when he or she is praying to God, and if you kill that person while he or she is praying to God, even though the person is evil, even though the person committed sin, whatever he or she might have done wrong deeds in his or her life, but when he or she was killed, when he or she was murdered during prayer, the soul goes to heaven. The soul goes to where? Heaven, and God accepts the soul, because at the last moment of his life or her life, the person is thinking about the God. This is a Christian belief, and Hamlet got caught with this belief that if he kills Claudius, though he got an opportunity to kill Claudius, but he could not kill Claudius, believing that if he kills Claudius while he was praying, his soul will go to heaven, or he will go to heaven, and whatever the crime he committed, killing the King Claudius or senior Claudius, will go in nothing. Now tell me, what is the complexity of the character of Hamlet? The complexity in the character of Hamlet is procrastination, we know. Irresoluteness, we know. But why the character shows that qualities like procrastination and irresolute? Because of the belief system he carries in his life. If you understood the mystery behind these kind of things, you can understand English literature very easy. If the Hamlet is not a Christian, if he belongs to some other religion, he would have killed that man in what you call then and there only. So the conflict between, or the conflict within and without, is one of the characteristics of Hamlet, and why the conflict arose him within, and why he struggled to manage the conflict between within and without, in and out, because of the Christian belief system. So fundamentally, these people wrote poetry, plays, novels, literary work of arts based upon the Christian beliefs. Some are against the Christian belief system, atheists, they wrote against the religion, and they did not follow any kind of established standard features of the prose or poetry in those days. So I hope the background information you must have understood. If you read Bible, Old Testament and New Testament, and if you understand the Christian belief system, you can easily understand the entire English literature. Otherwise, it is not possible. You must have read Paradise Lost. I also read Paradise Lost. I did not understand anything what Paradise Lost. How come Saturn comes from the hell, and they tell that hell is at the bottom and earth is at the middle and the heaven is above. How can we understand these things? It is based upon the Christian belief system. If it comes to Hinduism, then in Hinduism we believe that the Mahavishnu or Sri Mahavishnu in form of a tortoise had brought the planet Earth out of some ocean. Now if you tell this story to a non-believer or to some other religious people, they will not understand. And if you have written an epic based upon the belief system of this value, that the earth had been brought into life by Sri Mahavishnu, and when the earth was submerged into some ocean, he in form of a tortoise came and he lifted the earth and the life emerged. They'll tell this is a cock and bull story. For them it is meaningless, and for us the English literature becomes so difficult because we don't understand the background information about these things. So I hope this information, if you understood, you can understand the entire English literature. So he is an independent poet. He was revolt against convention. Then focus on reality. So what is his reality? Thought and vividness of expression. So he believed whatever he could see and understand, doesn't believe in whatever others believe. And his poetry style is forceful, vigorous, and in spite of faults of rhythm, often strangely harmonious. So his poetry is very, of course, if you can easily understand, but peculiar in nature. So that's why it comes under metaphysical poetry. Okay, so I hope you can understand or you can feel that change or the difference in my teaching. First day I was stammering, I was struggling to explain things. Like yesterday little okay, but today I suppose I retained like 10 to 20% of information which I explained in the previous classes or when I wrote books. So it will take time, give me some time so that I'll retain and I'll explain things, because it is my subject or our subject, but we lost touch with our subject while we are preparing for Tier 1 examination. Next. Mahesh Kumar sir, please read the second slide.
John Donne considered the master of metaphysical conceits an extended metaphor that combines two vastly different ideas into a single idea, often using imagery. His works are also witty, employing paradoxes, puns, and subtle yet remarkable analogies. Donne's pieces are often ironic and cynical, especially regarding love and human motives. His poetry represented a shift from classical form to more personal poetry.
Right. So he uses metaphysical conceits, far-fetched imagery, like comparison between two dissimilar things. There is no connection between these two things, but still, even we can't even in our wild thoughts also we cannot understand what is the connection between these two parts, but he uses that, and he uses that metaphysical conceit in his poetry, and he is master of metaphysical conceit. Common subjects of Donne's poems are love, especially his early life, but love here is not physical love. He emphasizes the spiritual love, and death, especially after his wife's death, and religion. So religion always talks about two things, death and sin. Christianity always talks about sin. According to Christianity, everybody is born as a sinner. So now that is a different a story is there in Old Testament, that why everybody is a sinner in this world. By birth, according to Christianity, we are all sinners, and our sin, whatever we have committed, that sin can be removed from our life only through the Jesus blood. Okay, we'll discuss later on all those things. Donne, noted for his poetic meter, which was structured with changing and jagged rhythms that closely resemble casual speech. His poetry looks very, very casual. It's like one-to-one person talking. Now, themes of Donne's poetry is paradoxes, belating cosmic forces, religion, death and hereafter, love as both physical and spiritual, interconnectedness of humanity and fidelity. So these are the themes of Donne's poetry: paradoxes, opposite in nature; belittling cosmic forces, he may not believe in the cosmic forces, like somebody is somewhere sitting and controlling life; religion, of course, most important themes of his, one of the themes of his poetry; and death and hereafter; then love as both physical and spiritual, and he emphasizes the spiritual love; and interconnectedness of humanity and fidelity. So these are the themes used by Donne in his poetry. Now, what are the important poems written by John Donne? First one is The Flea. A flea has bitten both lovers. Okay, a flea has bitten both lovers, and now the flea marks their union because it has both of their blood. So in this poem, The Flea, written by John Donne, there are two lovers, male, man and woman. They had some kind of an issue, but this fly went and bite the man once, and the same fly went and bite the woman. So what happens when the fly sucks the blood from the man, and the same time the fly sucks the blood from the woman? Now these two different people's blood are mixed in the fly's bladder or intestine or in the body. So now these two lovers with two different bodies united in the blood of the flea. The poet asks his lover not to kill it, but the lover does and finds herself not diminished. So the lover says that, male lover says that, or one lover tells another lover not to kill the fly but clean. When she yields to her lover, he says her honor likewise will not diminish, so there is nothing to fear by going. So remember, the flea, a mosquito, bite two lovers, and because it sucked blood of the two lovers united in one single body. Okay, like, two souls, one body. Likewise, you can understand. This is one of the poems written by John Donne. Next one is Lover's Infiniteness. The poet complains that in this poem, he does not yet have all of his beloved's love, despite using all his resources to woo her. She should not leave some love for others, nor should she leave herself open to wooing by others late. Yet, he also wants her to keep some of her love for him in reserve so that they can enjoy a constantly growing relationship. So this is a small theme about the poem I am explaining, Lover's Infiniteness. Next one is the canonization. In this poem, the poet demands that some complainer leave him alone to love. The complainer should turn his attention elsewhere, and nobody is hurt by love. The poet and his lover take their own chances together. They are unified in their love. Their love is a beautiful example for the world that will be immortalized, canonized, a pattern for all the other love in the world. So, three poems. First one is The Flea. Second one is Lover's Infiniteness, the canonization. And now, the one which we are going to deal today is a valediction, forbidding mourning. I'll explain after introduction. And then one more poem, Hymn to God, My God, in my sickness. The speaker faces the possibility of his own death by focusing on his preparation for heaven. He must tune himself in order to become God's musical instrument. He is like a map where the westernmost and easternmost points are the same, and his death will be transfigured into resurrection. Okay, and then there is one more, Holy Sonnet 14, Batter My Heart. Holy Sonnet 14, it is known as Batter My Heart. The speaker asks God to intensify the effort to restore the speaker's soul. God should overthrow him like a besieged town. He asks God to break the knots holding him back, imprisoning him in order to free him, and taking him by force in order to purify him. So these are the brief summaries you need to just know the points what actually part of this poem, but you have to read these poems at your level one by one. Now let us go with the question answers. First question, Somnath sir, please read.
John Donne revolted against which poet's followers' conventions? Option A Shakespeare, option B Spenser, option C Milton, option D Marlowe.
All of you start answering. All right. Others, John Donne revolted against others Elizabethan poetries or poetry traditions. So which poet he was revolted against? Okay, right. So Spenser. Now if you had watched Middle English period or Elizabethan English period videos which I had released, you must have come across Edmund Spenser and his greatest writings and his wife, and he had written something for his wife, all those things. At least have a glance about that information. Okay. Next question. Second question. Snehalata ma'am, please read.
In a valediction forbidding mourning, what does Donne compare lovers' souls to? A flea-sucking blade, the legs of a compass, a besieged town, a musical instrument.
Answer is B.
Besieged.
This is one of the very, very important comparison used in English literature, that souls of two lovers are compared with the legs of a compass. Okay. Next. Third one. Shivkumar sir, please read third question.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
In the flea, what argument does the poet make about killing the flea? Option A, it diminishes the love's honor. Option B, the lover is not diminished, so yielding won't diminish her honor. Diminish her honor. Option C, the flea represents religion. Option D, it marks their spiritual union only.
Answer everybody sent. In the poem Play, the argument put forward was the lover is not diminished, so yielding won't diminish her honor. That was the answer for the third question. Fourth question. Prince.
In Holy Sonnet 14, Batter My Heart, what does the speaker ask God to do? Option A, tune him like a musical instrument, overthrow him like a besieged town, compare him to a map, canonize his love.
In Holy Sonnet 14, Batter My Heart, what does the speaker ask God to do? Overthrow him like a besieged town. Okay, correct. Fourth one is option B. Last one. Jyoti ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Please read
Which
the question.
theme is commonly explored in Donne's poetry after his wife's death? Pastoral convention, death and religion, stock imagery, classical form only.
Okay. So after his wife's death, he talked and discussed about death and religion. So which theme is commonly explored in Donne's poetry after his wife's death? So he loved his wife, he married, and after marrying his wife, even he went to jail also. So we'll understand slowly the story. So these are the 5 questions. After this, let us go to the metaphysical poetry. In the morning class, I explained in detail about metaphysical poetry, who are the metaphysical poets and all those things. Now, Prince, unmute your microphone.
Yes, sir.
मॉर्निंग वीडियो आपने देखा है ना?
Yes, sir.
बताओ मेटाफिजिकल पोएट्री का बारे में थोड़ा बताओ. आपने बोला ना कल 10 मिनट मुझे बात करना है सर करके. थोड़ा बताओ मेटाफिजिकल पोएट्री क्या होता है और कौन कौन मेटाफिजिकल पोएट्स हैं. स्पीक इन इंग्लिश प्लीज. You have written notes?
In metaphysical, no sir, notes I have already.
Every time. But whatever you understood, you tell me. What do you know about metaphysical poetry and metaphysical poets?
Metaphysics, sir, 1 minute, I will go outside.
No issue. No, I don't want to trouble anybody. If you have prepared notes, then open your notes, keep the notes with you, and you can explain for 2 to 3 minutes, so that it can even for a revision also it can happen. So every time, as I told you, every day I'll ask you so many questions and you have to come prepared. Prince, you want to speak? Prince?
Sir, I know about metaphysical poetry. It talks about spiritual love, and it goes beyond physical world. It talks about spiritual world and the love
Fine, Prince. You prepare well, and then tomorrow when I ask the questions, you answer. Okay? Fine. Mute your microphone. Okay. Ashna ma'am, did you watch morning video? Ashna ma'am, unmute your microphone. Ashna? Okay, fine. Manasa?
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, ma'am. Did you watch morning video?
Yes.
Now please explain 2 minutes. What did you understand related to metaphysical poetry?
Sir, actually, Samuel Johnson, in his Lives of the Most Eminent English Poet, he was the first person who coined the term metaphysical. And he says that heterogeneous ideas are yoked together with violence. And he says it in the Lives of Cole. And he was a person who says about this metaphysical poets and everyone, and he used the term in not a pleasant way. He was like criticizing them, and T.S. Eliot also says that there is a dissociation of sensibility in the writing of metaphysical poets, and they are there is a lack of emotion. They were like in metaphysical poetry, they use metaphysical conceits. It's like an extended metaphor, and it's like they are comparing two different, entirely different things. And so that's why Samuel Johnson says that they yoke the heterogeneous ideas in a violent manner.
Good, very good, ma'am. Mansa. So all of you please come prepared to class, because I have given the complete schedule and I have given the timetable on what day, what I am going to explain, what are we going to learn. So you please do your homework and come and sit. Then only it will be easy for you to grasp things. Okay, otherwise it will be late for you to understand. Okay, so the term metaphysical or metaphysics in poetry is the fruit of Renaissance tree. Meta, beyond physical world. If you think, like for example, if anybody has the belief of soul, it is not worldly thing, it is just a belief. Nobody knows whether soul exists or not. So what is, it's a meta idea or meta concept. So the concept is beyond the physical world. Nobody can prove whether we have a soul or not. Originally, the term metaphysical poetry was coined by John Dryden. Very important objective type question. John Dryden coined the word metaphysical poetry. Actually, the metaphysical poets during Elizabethan period were not very popular because it was difficult for others to understand their poetry. But after some age, when John Dryden comes and when he explored the metaphysical poetry, he understood and he made things easy for others to understand the poetry written by John Donne and other metaphysical poets. And Samuel Johnson, in his book Lives of the Most Eminent English Poets, he took this metaphysical poets, especially John Donne, and he made John Donne and metaphysical poetry and poets popular. So every piece of information is important. The word meta means beyond and physical means physical nature. Metaphysical poetry means poetry that goes beyond the physical world of the senses and explores the spiritual world. Metaphysical poetry refers to a type of very intellectual poetry. It is very or highly intellectual in nature. It is difficult to grasp and understand what actually they are trying to convey. For example, if I ask you, what is platonic love? Can anybody tell me? What is platonic love?
Unearthly love.
What is unearthly love? That means people who love in Mars and Jupiter, that is called platonic love?
No, sir. Means
love itself
beyond
is very difficult to
physics.
understand, friends. Love itself is very difficult, whether it is an emotion or a feeling nobody understood so far. And if we go with the platonic love, then what is this love? So these are the complicated words, but meanings are easy. The love which was defined by Plato, I suppose if I am also not wrong, it is called as a platonic love. When there is no sexual intimacy between two people, that kind of love, like means zero sexual intimacy between two people, that kind of love is considered as a platonic love, and it was glorified in the literature. But in real world, there is no such kind of platonic love unless some kind of difficulty. Okay, so intellectual poetry, these kind of unusual, unorthodox words or things complicates our life. It is also a kind of imagination. Only love of Meera and Krishna is a platonic love, but we don't want to fall into those kind of discussions. But it is highly intellectual poetry which is difficult for us to understand. It is a type of poetry dealing with abstract or philosophical subjects such as love, religion, God, beauty, faith, and so on. So love is a feeling or emotion. Religion is a constructed human constructed belief system. God is also human constructed idea. Beauty is also a human constructed idea, and faith is obviously it's a human construction. So all these are actually philosophical in nature, and he tries to define and elaborately explain these concepts. So that's why it becomes very difficult to understand, because if you talk about your God, I may not understand. I don't know, for example, if you talk about your God, some other person may not understand your God. You don't understand their God. So that's why things become very complicated. And even though they are Christians, they also have different belief systems and beliefs of their God. Okay. Thus, metaphysical poetry means the poetry which addicted to witty conceits and far-fetched imagery. Dissimilar images, dissimilar things, no connection, no logical connection, but they are connected with the far-fetched imageries. This term metaphysical implies a process of dry reasoning, a speculation about the nature of universe, and the problems of life and death. Metaphysical poetry is a direct sensuous apprehension of thought or recreation of thought into feeling. Now it is again a complicated topic to explain and to discuss. Whatever you feel, it is based upon your thoughts. That means if your thoughts are positive or negative, or your feelings are positive or negative, whether your feelings are depends upon your thoughts, then where does these thoughts come from? If you know the source of these thoughts, then you can recreate those thoughts, or you can change those thoughts. So these are all complicated topics. Let us not go into deep in now. Let us understand the things of metaphysical poetry. Features of metaphysical poetry. They may ask you, explain metaphysical poetry in connection with some poem, or they may ask you what are the features of metaphysical poetry, or they may ask you, take a poem like a valediction forbidden morning and explain the metaphysical features of the poem. So likewise they'll ask you descriptive questions. That much we'll understand. Main features of metaphysical poetry includes skillful use of wit and conceit, exhibition of learning. So these poets, they wanted to showcase their knowledge in a very decorative and glamorous and high vocabulary way. Harsh versification, passionate thoughts, religious and dramatic elements, directness of speech, abrupt beginning, harsh rhythm, scientific speculations, and ordinary speech mixed with puns, paradoxes, colloquial languages, argumentative presentation of emotion, and daring imagery or metaphysical conceits. So these is very important. If they ask you what are the main features of metaphysical poetry, you have to construct, or you can construct an answer using this piece of information. Now we have the poem. It is 7:51. As I told you, it will take like 8:15 or 8:20, maximum 8:30. Now this is a poem which I have taken for today's class. I have prepared the slides, but I have written notes also. The notes is for my explanation, because when I try to explain, sometimes I may miss some points and everything I cannot write on screen. So that's why I have prepared slides for your notes, as well as I have written notes in my iPad so that I can use these reference materials and explain things properly. So first one is you need to write down, otherwise if I try to change the slide, then it will change the entire picture again. So a valediction forbidding morning is the poem written by John Donne. Snehalatama, please read the poem. We'll read the poem once. Snehalatama.
A valediction, forbidding morning by John Donne. As virtuous men pass mildly away and whisper to their souls to go, whilst some of their sad friends do say, the breath goes now, and some say, no. So let us melt and make no noise, no tear floods, nor sigh tempest move, tear profanation of our joys, to tell the loyalty of our love.
Continue, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Moving of the earth brings harms and fears. Men reckon what it did and meant, but trepidation of the spears, though greater far is innocent. Dull sublunary lovers, love, whose soul is sense, cannot admit absence, because it doth remove those things which eliminated it. Elemented it.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Continue, ma'am.
But we, by a love so much refined that ourselves know not what it is, enter assured of the mind, careless eyes, lips, and hands to miss. Our two souls, therefore, which are one, though I must go, endure not it. A breach, but an expansion, like gold to airy thinness beats.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir. If they be two, they are two so. As stiff twin compasses are two, thy soul, the fixed foot makes no show to move, but doth if the other do. And though it in the center set, it when the other far doth roam, it leans and hearkens after it, and grows erect, as that comes home. Such wilt thou be to me, who must, like the other foot, obliquely run. Thy fineness makes my circle just, and makes me end where I began.
Right. Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Can you see the screen now? Okay. Is it visible? So now I'll adjust the view so that dynamic spotlight. Okay, sidebar. I'll use spotlight so that whoever watches the recorded video or recording. Okay, right. So now I prepared like I used to prepare for English literature classes. After so many days or so, after long time, I started doing this. This is the way I used to teach for APDSC candidates during those APDSC time. Here you can see, and you have to note down the information also the way I had written. I'll explain slowly, and you have to note down you have to make your own notes. The name of the poem is A Valediction Forbidding Mourning. That is the name of the poem. So what is this valediction? Valediction means farewell speech. Please write down. What is a valediction? Is farewell speech. Why John Donne is giving a farewell speech? Because he is going to Europe. Here you can see the tick mark. He is going to Europe, especially to France, to roam around Europe, to visit France with his friend Robert Dewey. What is the name of his friend? With his friend Robert Dewey, he wanted to travel Europe, and especially he wanted to go to France with his friend Robert Dewey. When he was about to leave, actually his wife was pregnant, and he loved his wife. He married his wife after a great struggle, and even went to jail to marry his wife. After marrying his wife, he went to jail. So his wife was pregnant at the time of his tour, and when he announced his tour to his wife that he wanted to travel to France with his friend Robert Dewey, she was upset. Naturally, a wife feels upset when husband wants to go alone or some way without her. So she was upset. To please her, or to console her, he had written this poem. So this poem he had written for his pregnant wife, to please his wife and to console his wife. So that is the background of the poem, a valediction. So that's why this poem is like a farewell speech, and this farewell speech, a valediction, is addressed to his wife, and he says that forbidding mourning. I used to believe first in the beginning, I used to think that it is mourning, not mourning, but it is mourning. What is mourning? It is crying. What is forbidden? Commanding against. That means he gave a farewell speech to his wife who is pregnant at that time, and he says that she need not to worry and she need not to cry for his departure, because their love is eternal, their love is not physical. So that is the background of this poem. A valediction means a farewell speech, and in that farewell speech he command crying. And whom he commanded not to cry? His wife, who was pregnant at the time of his tour to France with his friend Robert Dewey. And he says this poem's main theme is, he says that their love, that means the love between John Donne and his wife, is not physical but spiritual. So their love is not physical but is spiritual. So this man is trying to fool his wife by speaking all this nonsense. So he wants to go away from his wife, and or he wants to roam with his friend, and now he started convincing his wife, telling that even though I go away, my love cannot go away, because we are not physically united, we are spiritually united. So like that he somehow convinced his wife. And then the poem he had written in this way. Okay, here the same stanzas which you had read on the same stanzas I'll explain briefly. Whatever important words are there, that I'll explain. Then we'll go back to the slides and then we'll understand information for this poem. So first stanza: a virtuous men pass mildly away and whisper to their souls to go, whilst some of their sad friends do say, the breath goes now and some say no. Now he is building the tempo at the beginning to convince his wife. He says that as virtuous men, noble men, gentlemen, great people pass mildly away. They also die peacefully. They don't make any noise. That means even whatever they have done great deeds or great things, those great souls also, they pass away slowly, silently, peacefully, and whisper to their souls to go. Whilst, that means they slowly leave this world, peacefully they leave this world without causing any trouble to anyone or without doing anything unnecessary. As virtuous men pass mildly away and whisper to their souls to go, that means they leave their bodies and their souls to go, whilst Some of their sad friends, even though noble people they died, they left this world, some of their sad friends they always differ in their opinions. Some say that the breath goes now, and some say no. There's some friends of this noble people, they say that this man is a very noble person, he should have lived long. Some people say no, he had died at the right time because he's a great person, let him pass peacefully. So now in the first stanza he is talking about the eternal life. He's talking about eternal life or life after death. Now he is building the tempo to please his wife, to allow him to move to Europe and to visit France with his friend. So first stanza, a virtuous men pass mildly away and whisper to their souls to go, whilst some of their sad friends do say, the breath goes now, and some say no. They express, friends, that the noble person should not have died. Some people say no, it is the right time, they died peacefully. So likewise people differ. Next stanza, if you see second one, so let us melt. Now he is telling that even the great souls, great people also, they left their lives peacefully. So let us melt and make no noise. See, I am going to Europe with my friend to enjoy, but you don't make any noise, okay, because we are not these kind of people. So let us melt and make no noise, no tear floods nor sight tempest move. So don't cause any kind of floods with your tears, nor bring any kind of tempest, because even though I am moving out, we are not like ordinary people. So let us melt and make no noise, no tear floods nor sight tempest move. So you know the tempest like a hailstorm or cyclone. Twere profanation of our joys. Now what is this profanation? Measure of something sacred. Okay, measure, MESU, or a measure of something sacred. To twere profanation of our joys, to tell the laity our love. It is not our simple life or simple love. We have the greatest love, and let the common people understand our love. That means I will go from you, I will enjoy in Paris or in France and everything with my friend, but you don't cry, you don't bring any kind of tempest in our life, because our joy cannot be ended with our separation. So he is fooling his wife. So let's melt and make no noise, no tear floods nor sight tempest move, twere profanation of our joys, to tell the laity. Who is laity? The worldly people or the common people of love. Even though I move away from you, even though we are physically separated, but our love remains same, and let the world knows, let the common people get surprised by our greatest love. So he is talking about these things in the second stanza. When it comes to third stanza, moving off the earth brings harms and fears, men reckons what it did and meant, but trepidation of the spirits, though greater far, is innocent. So moving of the earth brings, like the earth moves, the planets rotate, the entire solar system is in motion. Harms and fears, men reckons what it did and meant. If you think like people move out of life, and because of that so many things happens, and because of that so much of problems may come, but understand, trepidation of spheres, the movement of planets, though great far, is innocent. Even though the men move, even though I move from you, I may go out of your sight, I may move to France and I may stay somewhere, but all these things won't change our life and don't bring any change in our love. So in this stanza he is showing his knowledge about solar system. In those days only he understood the solar system, and the knowledge about the existence of planets, universe and all those things, extraterrestrial things, he shows his knowledge in this stanza about the solar system. Moving of the earth brings harms and fears, men reckons what it did and meant, but trepidation of the spheres, though great far, is innocent. Next stanza he says, dull sublunary. What is sublunary? Earth, below the moon. Dull sublunary lover's love, whose soul is sense, cannot admit absence, because it doth remove those things which eliminated. Now he is telling his wife here that if the lovers are only connected by physical love, they feel afraid and they are scared of leaving their beloved, because if they move away from their life, if they move out of their sight, their love may diminish or their love may fall. So that's why the people who are only having the physical love, they are afraid of leaving each other. Dull sublunary lovers love. So the earthly love, what is this kind of sublunary lovers love? Earthly love. The people who are only physically loved or physically connected, they don't have connection of their souls. They cannot admit the absence of other person in their life, because it doth remove those things which eliminated it. That means the physical separation can bring the ultimate separation in their life. So that is what is said. But he is trying to emphasize, telling her that, but next stanza, but we buy a love so much refined. Their love is so much refined, like a refinery oil, refined oil. Their love is not like an ordinary love. Their love is so refined that they are not connected with the physical love, but they are connected with the spiritual love. That means even though he moves away from her hundreds of kilometers, but still their love cannot fall and their love cannot fade, because they are united and their love is spiritual and their love is refined. But we buy a love so much refined that ourselves know not what it is, interassured of the mind, careless, eyes, lips and hands to miss. It is not, our love is not connected with eyes or lips or hands to miss. Our love is connected with our souls. So our love is refined. You don't worry, even though I move out of your sight, even though I travel with my friend, but still our love will be as it is. See how greatly, how polishly he is fooling his wife. Next stanza, our two souls therefore. Now he is talking about the souls. Our two souls therefore, which are one. Don't think that our two bodies means we are having two different souls. Actually we are having only one soul. Our two souls therefore, which are one, though I must go, endure not yet a breach. Don't think that if I go from here, our love will have a breach or maybe division. It will never happen, but an expansion like gold to the airy thinness beat. Now our love is not like a iron which breaks. Our love is like a gold, even though if it takes a lot of beating, but it will expand, but it will not break. See how cleverly he is explaining, convincing his wife. Our two souls therefore, which are one, though I must go, endure not yet a breach, but an expansion. It is not a break in our love, it expands. That means the separation will make them to feel more connected and their love will become more intense because of the separation, like a gold to airy thinness bit. So the more the gold is beaten, what happens? It becomes more and more thinner. Like that he compares his love. So he talks about the metallurgy, knowledge about the metals. Then comes next stanza. If they be two, they are two so, as stiff twin compasses are two. So now we know the compass, correct? Stiff twin compass, here you can see. If they be two, they are two. So as stiff twin compasses are two, thy soul. So now he is telling, here he is his wife and he is the husband, okay, the poet. So he is telling that if thy be two, they are two. So as stiff twin compasses are two, thy soul. So here his wife's soul is actually fixed. That means even though he roam around anywhere in this world, but he is connected to his wife at this point. I'll change the color. He is connected to his wife at this point, though they are separated physically, but their souls are connected. So At if thy be two, they are two. So as stiff twin compasses are two, thy soul, she is the what you call the anchor of love, that fixed force make no show to move, but doth if the other do. You will be here only, always you will be here only, you won't move. But even though I move entire world or wherever I go, but still I am connected with you. So that is the explanation he is giving to allow his wife to move, to allow his wife allow him to move away from his wife. So he is comparing that his wife is at the one end and he is at the one end. Even though this rotates here, this is also rotating in the same angular axis. That means he is still connected with his wife even though he went out of her sight. Next one, and though it is in the center sit yet done, yet when the other far doth roam, it leans and hickens after it and grows erect as that comes home. So like this, no, husband is here, wife is here, and they both are connected. So wherever the husband goes, the wife is still going in the same direction, and when the husband comes to her, she is still connected with the husband. So of course maybe the valediction of forbidding mourning he might have used, but I make it little comical in nature. So he is trying to please his wife, convince his wife to allow him to move out. And though it in the center sit, so it's always center it sits, she is, and he roams here and there, but he's always connected with his wife. And though it is in the center sit, yet when the other far doth roam, other far means what? Means he will roam, but she will be at the center. It leans and hickens after it and grows erect as they come home. Next stanza. So after explaining all these, how many stanzas he explained? This is first stanza, second stanza, third stanza, fourth stanza, fifth stanza, sixth stanza, seventh stanza, eighth stanza. After explaining, after giving so many reasons for him to move away from her, and now finally he says that such with them to be me. So like compass, even though I move here and there, but still the compass is got connected. Such with me, such with thou be to me, who must like the other foot obliquely run. The firmness makes my circle just and makes me end where I began. So even though I move from here and there, I move from here, but still I am connected like a compass. So this is the poem, and where he had written the two souls are connected, and use the comparison as stiff twin compasses are two, thy soul the fixed foot makes no show to move, but doth if the others. So this is the poem. I explained this poem in my own way. A husband tries to convince his wife to allow him to go with his friend to enjoy life, but he had written this poem long back, and this poem name is A Valediction Forbidding Mourning. Okay, and it was written in between 1612 to 1612 only. Right, now let me come back, let me stop the presentation. Okay. Now screen is visible for you all. Okay, so this is the poem. Now a valediction forbidding mourning possesses all these characteristics of a metaphysical poetry. It was written in 1611 when the poet parted from his wife for a journey to France. The poem may be the poet himself, or it can be to mean done lover speaking to his beloved in 1612 and was reunited with his wife. Analysis, please read this poem. I'll just use washroom for 2 minutes. I'll come back. Please read the analysis of the poem. Mansa ma'am, can you please read the analysis of the poem?
The poem is in a form of argument made by lover, his beloved. The lover wants his beloved not to grieve at the time of their parting. Virtuous men die peacefully, but ignorant persons are afraid of death. It is not wise to exhibit one's grief to the world, love, and spiritual death. Those who make a distinction between physical and spiritual love rest on this belief that their souls are one. Therefore, parting does not mean even if their souls are like 2 feet of a compass, they are related to each other in a deep sense. Their souls are in compass. Their souls are in compass. The soul of the beloved appears like the fixed foot, returns after completes the circle. The 2 feet are united.
So this is the analysis of the poem. Let us move ahead. Okay. So in stanza 1 and 2, parting is compared to death. Virtuous men die peacefully. And in stanza 2, he tells his beloved that they can also part virtuously without a display. So he compared that he wanted to go away. So he told that like virtuous people die peacefully, let us also part this peacefully. Let us also show the same kind of characteristics. Stanza 3 and 4, parting should not affect us just as a movement of celestial. Like world, we are not worldly people, our love is so great. Stanza 4 and 5, for those earth love rests on the senses, parting is unbearable. So those who are physically connected, those love is only physical, they may feel difficult to separate from their lover because they believe that their love may diminish or vanish and their parting is unbearable. Stanza 6, the lover tells his mistress or his wife that their souls are one, therefore parting is not a problem. Stanzas 7 to 9 even break, their souls are like 2 feet of compass. The soul of the beloved will enable him to return to her after his journey. So this is about the bits and pieces of information. Next, what are the figures of speech used? Now you can note down there. I will also try to mark it here also, those who have written fine, otherwise I will just now shift again back and forth again. I have to go like I have to open the, otherwise you write down, it will be, if I do that it will delay it will take a lot of time. So this line, so let us melt, it comes in stanza 2, second stanza it comes, first line, second stanza first line. So let us melt nor no noise, let us melt and make no noise, no tear floods nor sigh tempest move. Okay, so in these lines, in this second stanza 2 lines, the figures of speech is hyperbole or exaggeration. So morning, I suppose if you watched the video, hyperbole is used, like exaggeration of explanation of things, that comes under hyperbole. The poet speaks about raging floods of tears and tempest of sighs, which is evident exaggeration for sake of effect. So the figures of speech used in this line is hyperbole. Let me see, if I just stop this, I may come back. No, again I have to use this. Okay. Can you see screen now? The screen is visible? Okay. So here, so let us melt and make no noise, no tear floods nor side tempest moves. Here he used hyperbole. Here he used hyperbole or hyperbole. Okay. Now next, what is the next figures of speech he used? Okay, we were profanation of our joys. So this were profanation of our joys. Where it is? Profanation of joys. In which same stanza, were profanation of our joys. Metaphor is a figure of speech used in this line. True lovers are compared to laymen and priests. If they weep and sigh during separation, they will be like. So here in these lines were profanation of our joys to tell the laity our love. To profanation of our joys, there the metaphor is used. And then moving of earth brings harms and fears. Third stanza, first line, moving of earth brings harms and fears. They reckons what it and mean. These lines suggest that lovers should not express great emotions at the time of parting. Moving of the earth brings harms and fears. Next one is, but trepidation of the spheres, though greater for innocent, movement of heavenly bodies, earthquake far greater than earthquakes, dull sublunary lovers. The poetic device used in this line is assonance and alliteration. Next one, like gold to airy thinness beat, the poetic device used in this line is conceit. Now what he compared here, let me show you here only. Gold to airy thinness beat. So he compared his love with the gold to airy thinness beat. So this is the conceit he has used. Rhyme scheme employed in the poem is AB, AB, CC, DD. You can see whether this rhyme scheme is coming or not. AB, AB, CD, CD. AB, AB. Okay, I'll just again come back. AB, AB, CD, CD. That is the rhyme scheme, correct? Okay, now you see. You tell me the rhyme scheme. A virtuous man pass mildly away, A, and whisper to their souls to go, B, whilst some of their sad friends do say, away say, A, the breath goes now and some says, no, go. Okay, so AB, AB. Now for this next stanza, if you see, so let us melt and make no noise, C, no tear floods nor sigh tempest move, D, were profanation of our joys, C, to tell the laity our love, move love. So the rhyme scheme is AB, rhyme scheme is AB, AB, CD, CD. So this is rhyme scheme, and remaining part you go you check by yourself and you'll find out the rhyme scheme must be the same. It must be the same. Moving ahead, now it's 8:23. Let us have the descriptive answer discussion. Okay. Now before this, am I clearly audible to all of you? Okay. So before we go with the today's question and explanation of writing answer, I deliberately written in a different way the answer to this question. Deliberately missed a lot of important vital information to fetch out and out marks that we will discuss. But before that, today I received yesterday's, I mean like first class descriptive answer I received from Manasa, and then the descriptive answer received from Prince and Ashna. Others not written. So I would like to first ask you, Mahesh Kumar, why you didn't submit?
Sir, actually today I thought of submitting both, but I could submit only one yesterday's wall poems.
Okay.
Before only, sir. Tomorrow, by tomorrow.
Please do it. Somnath sir.
Sir, first of all, sir, sorry, sir.
It's okay,
Sir,
but
I will do in the next day, sir. The next day I will do, sir.
Please do it. Please do it. Everybody, please do it, because writing skills takes a lot of time to improve. You cannot write in at the very first day. You cannot write an excellent answer. Now let me give you feedback without taking the names, because if I take names in front of everybody, then it will be not good for you. And these are the papers I took print out, and I checked and I shared that PDF also in the group. You might have gone through the feedback given to you. I'll speak in general. not to hurt anybody. I know you all qualified tier 1 examination, now you are preparing for tier 2, but my responsibility is to tell you the facts so that you will come out of that kind of mindset and you may improvise yourself. So for your better performance only I am giving the feedback. The first common mistake is whoever submitted the answers, first common mistake is you are writing in elaborative manner, which is time taking and which won't fetch good marks. So be very precise to the question. Whatever the question is asked, your answer must be precise, direct to the point. That first rule we have to follow. Second one, there are so many grammatical mistakes are there. If the singular subject, then the singular verb should come. If it is, you have written the present tense, you have to maintain throughout the answer the present tense. Or if you wrote in past tense, throughout the answer you have to maintain the past tense. Don't mix the tenses. Okay. Third common mistake is you're all writing complex sentences. Like you are explaining 2-3 different ideas in one single sentence. That is generally not preferred. And then if I go with your writing skills, I can say that you are writing answer in a randomly. You are not incorporating the specific details of the lesson or work of art. You are not quoting the exact lines of the characters, exact information from the text. So you need to incorporate the important lines or quotations or the words from the play or from the work of art. If it is a poem, you have to draw the lines, you have to write the exact lines of the poetry. And then one common remark is you are writing answer, but sometimes the facts are missing in the answer. So you have to understand these things. Don't commit grammatical errors. First of all, don't write wrong spellings. Don't commit grammatical mistakes. Don't use too many complex sentences. Use simple sentences so that whoever reads, they'll understand it easily. So marks also I gave, and I given the remarks also and shared that PDF document. So please go through that remarks. It is not like discouraging anybody, but maybe first time you started writing or written, so that's why your answer is not very it's not very appropriate and apt to fetch out and out marks. Your answer is okay, but if you write in this fashion and if you write in this way or style, difficult for you to get out and out marks, because there are so much weightage for descriptive part. So we need to write answers very clearly. So hereafter what we will do is I'll try to give you one format of paper. In that paper, like you have to write in A4 size paper. All of you write in A4 size paper. One side of the paper, one side of the paper you have to use to write. And if there are two questions, please don't write the answer to the next question in the same page. You turn the page and you write. And where do you write? If you want to keep a notebook, long notebook, you keep a long notebook. Or if you want to write in A4 size pages, then you can write, but A4 size pages you have to always keep it together. If you take a long book and if you start writing on date wise, after 1 month or 1.5 months, you have your collection of your own answers and corrections, modifications. If you go through those notes, that is sufficient for your descriptive answer writing. So please write in a notes 1 page for 1 answer. Okay. And then please go through the question answers, whatever you have written, please have evaluated. I have written the comments also, and I gave very less marks to you. Please don't take me wrong, but beginning is always difficult. Okay. Now let us come to today's question. Mansa, please read.
Explain the central idea of John Donne's poem, A Valediction Forbidding Mourning. What is the main comparison conceit the speaker uses to describe the lovers' connection, and how does it convey the poem's message about true love?
1 minute time for everybody to think about what answer to be written.
John Donne's valediction forbidding mourning, written to his wife.
Wait. Please wait. Please wait. Who was speaking? Is Snehalata ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Please wait. Now I'll show you one rough answer, vaguely written, not written in a very correct manner. A lot of information is missing. Now I'll show you that answer, and then one by one you want to tell me what can be added into that answer. Okay. Snehalata ma'am. Now see, I had composed the answer in this way. This is a poem. Now what is missing in the first line? Which poem? Snehalata ma'am.
Sir.
Which poem?
Valediction forbidding mourning.
So if we write answer like this is a poem about a man comforting his wife as he prepares to leave on a long journey. What is the name of the poem? Who is the poet? And who is this man? And who is this wife? And where is he going? All these things will become a big confusion, correct? Now you tell me, Snehalata ma'am, how do you want to reframe this sentence? First sentence.
Yes, sir. As they have given the name of the poem in the question itself, we need to go with
You just give me the exact sentence.
Okay, sir. John Donne's a valediction forbidding mourning, written to his wife before a trip to Europe. And the central idea is true love. So he wanted to speak about the eternal love, or else where he doesn't want to go with the ordinary lovers who get panic when they get separated. But he wanted to specify the connection of his pure love.
Okay, right, fine. Next, Mahesh Kumar sir, how would you like to begin this answer?
The poem A Valediction Forbidding Mourning talks about the physical parting of husband, physical parting of the wife when he was going to trip with his friend. So he wanted to convey the physical parting always don't affect the relationship.
Okay, sir. Let me just, it's okay, Mahesh sir. Let me just read out the information. I said that if you write in this way, this is a wrong answer actually. This is a wrong answer example. If you write like this is a poem. The exam evaluator doesn't know which poem you are talking about. This is a poem about a man. Who is that man? Also we don't know. This is a poem about a man comforting his wife as he prepares to leave on a journey. So which journey, where he is going, everything is vague. He is telling her not to be sad and cry when he goes, because what they have is too special for that. His main point is that their love isn't just a physical thing. It's deeper, like their very souls are connected. But how they are connected, he had not explained here. Their souls are connected like a compass, two ends of the compass. To explain this, he comes up with a famous comparison. They are like the two legs of drawing compass. She is the fixed foot in the center that stays rooted, and he is the foot that has to travel in a circle away from her. Even when he is far away, her steady presence is what pulls him back home, just like the center foot guides the other to complete its circle and return. The whole idea is to show her that real love isn't broken by distance because they are connected in their minds and souls. His leaving isn't a break, it's just a stretch. Her quiet strength is what will ensure he comes back to her safe and sound. This is also answer. 1 or 2 marks may come if you write, but our target is to fetch out and out marks. So this is a wrong example of writing an answer. Here there is no details from the poem, no true lines are quoted in this answer, no information about the name of the poem, name of the poet, and why he had written this poem to his wife, and where he wants to go and with whom he wants to go. All that important and vital information is missing. So facts are missing. So you have to rewrite, or you just take this as a wrong example of answer writing, and you have to write a descriptive answer to the question. This is the question. Explain the central idea of John Donne's poem, A Valediction Forbidding Mourning. What is the main comparison? Conceit. So the conceit you have to take out. Whatever the conceit they asked, you have to write the exact true lines from the poem. The speaker uses to describe the lover's connection, and how does it convey the poem's message about true love. So all these are interconnected. When we write an answer for a poem, we need to quote the exact lines from the poem, or whatever the literary device is asked. Here the conceit is asked, the comparison is asked. But if you see the answer which I had presented, there is no exact quote or exact lines of the comparison. So you have to write it according to the demand of the question. So this is your homework for today, and please write and share as early as possible, because if you can write answer and if you can share morning by tomorrow morning, then I get some time in the early morning. I can evaluate your paper peacefully, and I can write remarks and comments and give proper feedback to you. Okay, so let us end today's class, and tomorrow whatever the topic is there, with that topic will come. Please come prepared to class. Okay, I'll end the video recording. If you have any questions or doubts, you may ask me now.